diagnostic type of works where there's something going wrong with the vehicle, but it's been to the dealer, it's been to the multiple shops, and they still couldn't figure it out. And trying to unwind things that were repaired and actually made it worse, and actually tackling the root cause, it's challenging, and obviously it's rewarding.
Welcome to the SGV Master Key, a show where you will hear personal stories of triumph over failures and how others successfully navigated the unique landscape that is the San Gabriel Valley. What makes us different? Well, just like you, we have chosen the San Gabriel Valley for our home or businesses or both. We believe it is the people and small businesses that make this community great, and we love to share their stories with you. We always encourage your questions and feedback, and you can find all of our contact information at sgvmasterkey.com. Here are the hosts for the show, Russell Mono and Scott Warmoth.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the SGV Master Key. Glad you're back with us. And you know, Scott, I realized from my other podcast that I don't think I've ever said please like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, I think you did. At least I heard you talk about it.
Oh, it sounds funny. Oh no, it was one with about Beth having to say that.
Oh yeah,
it's such a common phrase now with people, you know, creating content online. But anyway, you know, it's interesting to see how different business owners are tackling different parts of their business, right? The job of whatever they provide, whether it's service or manufacturing, whatever. And, you know, you're no stranger to that, right?
Right, yeah.
And our guest today, he's an owner of his own business. Like many business owners, he's involved in almost every dynamic of his business, right? Like hiring, training, management, and relating to the community, things like that, right?
Right, yeah. And that, I'm just thinking back to when I started and I was everything, you know, in one, when I first opened my practice. But I've since learned the value of having a real good, strong system and culture. And you learn the hard way sometimes. But yeah, let's meet our guest.
Yes, today's guest is my mechanic, and his name is Seiko Nagata of Seiko's Auto Service in Monrovia. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Scott. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. So we're going to get into, you know, your story and what is your connection to the San Gabriel Valley?
So actually, I was born and raised in Monterey Park. Was born in 1980, went to Repetto, K through 8, went to Mark Keppel High School. Graduated there, and since then I've been here pretty much the whole time.
Wait a minute, this I didn't even know.
Yeah,
what year?
Same contemporary of yours.
Yeah, what year did you graduate Mark Keppel?
1998.
Did you know me?
I don't know.
Okay, then that's
I don't remember.
So I graduated in 1996.
Okay.
So I was there when you were there.
Yeah. So you were a senior when I was a sophomore, possibly.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So interesting. I thought you were actually born in Japan.
No, I was born here.
But you present to me as like culturally very Japanese.
Parents are from Japan, so at home it was always Japanese. Went and attended and graduated from a local Japanese school over 13 years. It was just Saturday only, but yeah, went. And my wife is from Japan, so we still continue to speak Japanese at home.
So there are not a lot of more of Japanese remaining in Monterey Park as there were in the 80s.
Yeah, it definitely has gone down quite a bit. Yeah.
So what's been your experience growing up, you know, in the San Gabriel Valley?
Definitely in the beginning when we were kids, locally there were a lot of Japanese families, and we would hang out with each other. Our parents would hang out. We would hang out with the other kids. We would explore and, you know, go to sports events, you know, t-ball, baseball, basketball. And as time went on, a lot of the Japanese people that used to live in the Monterey Park, Alhambra area, it's kind of slowly moved out more towards Gardena, Torrance. A lot of my friends their parents moved to the East Coast, New York, Chicago. And then from there, growing up, start making friends with other Asian ethnicity people, and then just became friends. And growing up in Monterey Park, Alhambra area, it was definitely, I feel, is different from in being in Monrovia.
How so?
There's a lot more diversity in Monrovia. I believe there's still quite a bit of Caucasian people, African American people, Latino and Asian. They're all just kind of mixed around. It's not really Asian dominant like in Monterey Park or Alhambra, how it is now. So I saw some of that as I was growing up. A lot more Asians were moving in, and it just kind of, I don't know. I guess as I was growing up, I just kind of got influenced a lot more by Asians until I started my own business and started seeing a lot more diversity, I guess, within the people around me.
No, I'm curious. Do you know Brian and Jennifer Yoshimura?
We did. They lived right down the street from us. Yeah.
Okay, because what's that street's name that
Bradshaw?
goes Bradshaw?
Yeah, that's where I lived.
Oh,
yeah. My brother was a lot closer to Brian. They were in the same the Kokwa YMCA club.
Who's your brother?
Kosei.
You know him?
Yeah.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So all these connections, and here is your car mechanic, and imagine all those connections coming out of this one person.
Yeah, I never knew. Well, Japanese school on Saturdays was so common for every Japanese kid I knew.
Yeah.
Like it was just like that was an automatic, and I thought it was I was lucky to not go because everybody was complaining about it.
Yeah, miss the Saturday morning cartoons and hanging out with our other friends and things like that. Miss birthday parties and
Yeah. But I really wish that I had gone to learn the language.
yeah, definitely. Now I see the value of it. Yeah, definitely.
But you grew up in a family where your parents spoke Japanese,
yes,
pretty much
primarily.
exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you needed the schooling to sort of keep up on.
Yeah, to keep up, and also the reading and the writing.
Yeah.
But not to mention, one of the great values of going to school is meeting other friends and people from other areas and connecting with them.
Oh, the way
and,
you socialize, you'd go, and then your sports activities, and
So now that I sort of know that area that you're from, like the car culture was very prominent in high school, elementary school. But where did it start your journey to be a mechanic and be a business owner?
Okay, so kind of started a little funny. I needed to get my grades up, and auto shop was one of the elective classes that were offered at Mark Keppel High School, and people were saying how it was an easy grade and you could get a B and an A pretty easily, get your GPA up. Initially, when I was going through high school, I wanted to become more towards construction, drafting, architecture, somewhere along that line. So I was taking drafting classes, CAD/CAM classes, kind of dabbled in drafting and architecture and some of that stuff. And then I found out that, hey, auto shop's right next door, could get an easy grade. After about a semester, got bit by the automotive bug and ended up dropping my grades because I stopped going to other classes to stick around at the auto shop, which was kind of bad.
Wow. So what did you do after high school?
So right outside of high school, I initially did sign up for Citrus College's T10 program, but things fell through and I couldn't make it to class. But I had an opportunity to work with auto shop near Venice Beach. It was a connection through my father. One of his old time friends asked me I asked him if I could learn because high school was over. There was nowhere else to work on cars. So I asked my father's friend, hey, can I learn here? Basically, can I apprentice under somebody? And they took me in, and I was there for about 6 months, and a position opened up where I could become a full-time apprentice/trainee there, and that's how I started at that shop.
Wow, this whole time I thought you were born in Japan. But what happened then? what happened after that?
So I worked there, learned there. Taking a bunch of classes in high school, I thought I was pretty good at working on cars. And next thing you know, when you're put in a environment where you have to fix other people's cars and vehicles that you never worked on before, it kind of opened up my eyes, and I knew that, hey, I didn't really actually know very much. And from there, started training under a master technician. His name was Stan Omori. Read a bunch of magazines, books, training books, went to class. And about 2004, I got the bug. I had an itch to live in Japan for a little bit. A lot of my friends that I had at that time were people from Japan, and I hear stories, and you watch videos and anime and stuff, and made me want to live over there for a little bit. So from 04 to 06, at the time she was my girlfriend, but my wife now, we moved out to Japan together. And I had an opportunity to work at a auto shop in Japan, and I was there from 04 to 06, and I came back. I was offered potential to purchase a business from my old boss, and so I came back. And then about 2013, things just didn't work out, so I basically jumped out and found my own location and started from scratch.
Wow. Before you got here, Scott, we were talking about, I had been watching these show on YouTube called A Day in the Life in Japan, and they go through different people working in Japan, and there's this common thread of what they do with the Japanese company. I don't know if you're familiar, but I was asking him if they do that, and he said he does. He does. Are you familiar, Scott?
Well, I have. You're talking about, there's a name for the worker at a Japanese company. I forget what they call it. It's like, I don't know, but I'm familiar with like the sort of the standardization, right, of all of the companies and the way workers, are treated, and how. Maybe it's interesting if we could hear a bit about that. I mean, I know, vaguely, but
so a lot of people that go into an established company and become a salary wage worker.
That's what they call them, salary
man.
Yeah, salary man. That's what.
That's a pretty common a name for a person that works at a company and established company and just earns a salary and not consider. I guess not an hourly employee, but a salary man, and that's a pretty common term that people use for people.
And you just see them in the subways in the morning going to work, right? Yeah. All these salary men.
Yeah.
And they're always men.
Yeah. I was considered to be one of them as well. When we go into work, we go in dressed with the suit. And we change into our uniform at work. And,
you wear a suit, and then
like almost no matter what industry you're in, right?
Yeah.
And you carry a briefcase?
I did not carry a briefcase daily, but I did when I went to the training classes.
Yeah.
And isn't there this like routine or ritual in the morning for every company?
Yeah. They call it's radio taiso, basically radio training. Basically, it's kind of a warm-up routine where you'll do stretches and light exercises to kind of get the body loosened up, and so you could get on to be a productive salaryman for the rest of the day, I guess. Yeah.
And how long would your workday be?
Ooh, that was hard. It's actually started a little bit later than what I was used to here. It started around 9 to 10 a.m., but it went on until we finished our job.
It could have been
like 10, 11 at times.
It's basically all night, right?
Yeah.
And then do you have to go out drinking?
The company I worked for, that was kind of frowned upon, so we wouldn't do that. Maybe once or twice a year if there's a big end of the year party, then we would go out and drink with them. But there are companies where you would have to go with the manager or the owner of the company to go out and drink, and after that you go back home and you go to sleep and you go back to work.
Isn't there also like some morning meeting like where everybody is gathered to discuss the events of the day?
Yeah, we always had a morning meeting, which is a shortened version of the weekly meeting of what happened the day before, what mistakes that we made, and how we could improve on it. Anything good that happened, and just kind of praise the person that did, I guess, improve on whatever was going on or did a good job, and then what's going to happen for the rest of the day.
I find that fascinating. This is like almost every business in Japan does this.
Yeah. So you wear your suit and then you change into your work clothes.
Yes.
And what were you doing? What was your job?
I was a automotive technician over in Japan as well. So I worked on, when I was over there, I was working heavily on Mercedes, BMW, some of the European vehicles. And then there were some, like in Japan, they would call it domestic vehicles, but the Japanese cars. But the company that we work for specialized more towards the European.
Yeah, amazing. So every company is like that, right?
They follow a pretty similar line.
So I'm curious on a couple of things. One, how were you received in Japan by the people as a Japanese person?
They saw me as a foreigner. They would call him gaijin.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I look Japanese, but the area that I worked in, it was in Iwate prefecture. So my parents are from down south, so I already have a different kind of face than the most of the people that live there. So, but they still saw me as Japanese in the beginning. But once I start talking, and I don't have the exact I can't speak the very, very polite way of talking to elders. They call it keigo. So I had to learn a lot of that, kind of on the fly. So
yeah, that's the more honorific form.
Yeah.
And so you wouldn't be able to speak either to the emperor, would you? Because that's even a different language, right?
Completely different. Yeah.
Wow, that's so fascinating. So, I mean, even you who can speak the language and looks Japanese is not received. Like, was that hard?
There were some perks to it. They would let me get away with certain things. But then again, some people would be like, "Oh, yeah, that gaijin again."
Did you expect that when you went over?
A little of it. I was a little prepared for it. I've heard and read and seen stories about how if you're not directly from there, you'd be treated a little different. But the company I worked for, as well as a lot of the managers and the people that I worked immediately around, they were very welcoming, and they helped me out, and they supported me, and they kind of taught me how to, I guess, not be more polite, but to use the proper terms and to talk with the they call it the shacho, which is the boss, and then the bucho, which are not really vice presidents, but the people directly under the owner.
It's not just Japan that does that. All of Asia, it's as if the Chinese and Koreans as well.
Yeah.
If you leave, you've been tainted. You're like you're not loyal to your country and your culture. I mean, you must have felt that in some ways, right?
At times, yeah. Depending, like I said, if it's immediate, I'm around, I guess, my immediate circle. They didn't make it noticeable if they were feeling it. But if I'm outside, I was working for a pretty big company that owned a bunch of other things too. But if I'm out in a training group with the people that run the restaurant, I could feel a little bit of not negative energy, but just kind of like
you were different
with a stinky eye, or
you were different.
Yeah.
So do you consider what do you consider yourself?
I consider myself used to be a Monterey Park person, but now I rather say I'm more of a San Gabriel Valley person, or foothills, just this area. Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, and you don't have to answer this if this making you uncomfortable. Like, do you consider yourself, if someone says, "Oh, are you Japanese or are you American?" Like culturally,
I would say I'm Nisei. So I am a U.S. citizen. I'm an American with a Japanese background.
huh? Okay. Oh, the other curiosity I had was that, as far as I know, in many large cities in Japan, maybe even in the country, not every person owns a car. So were you primarily working on like government and fleet vehicles?
So I was living out in an area where it's, I guess, considered to be rural, kind of countryside. It was pretty close to where the Tohoku Daishinsai, the big earthquake that happened recently and had the tsunami in Fukushima. So we were right north of there. So that area, majority of people own a vehicle because it's pretty much open areas. The mass transit, the transportation, the trains, the subways, the infrastructure wasn't there. So I was out in the countryside. So almost every family would have at least one vehicle. So we were working on a lot of private vehicles.
Are there a lot of Toyotas?
There were a lot of Toyotas for sure. Yeah.
You know, that's one skill. Really, you can go anywhere in the world pretty much, can't you? I mean, a car is a car.
Hands, yeah, I
right?
believe I could get by, make a living, and keep working. Yeah.
Well, Seiko, we ask each guest on this show to bring an item of significance with them. And what did you bring with you today?
Yeah, so I brought a little keychain. This is always kept in my backpack. My backpack always goes with me everywhere when I travel, when I go to work, when I go home. And these two little tags, my daughters gave them to me when they were I believe in second grade. Yeah, so they drew that, and it's something that the school did for every student, and I just kept it with me. They're kind of the tipping. They were kind of the trigger of me starting the business. I was obviously working for somebody, and I was promised certain things when I came back from Japan that would happen, and it didn't materialize. So I'm like, hey, I'm still relatively young, and I have two daughters. I should, if I'm gonna do something, do it now, or might not be able to do it in the future. So they kind of just, I guess, the tipping point, or they pushed me over the edge to just go out and start my own business.
To protect your family.
Yeah.
How old are your daughters?
Right now, they are 15 and 12, so they're teenagers now. Or
Whoa.
one's a tween, I guess. Is that what they call them now? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they're pretty old. Not old, but they've matured quite a bit.
Wow. Okay. So there's the reason for your business, and you own your own business.
Yes.
How has that journey been from the beginning?
The beginning was obviously scary. In 2013, things were not materializing in the company that I was working for in the way that I thought would happen. And I have been looking for a location to open up my own shop for probably about a year and a half in. But because I was working Monday to Friday at this company, I had no real time to actually focus and look for a location. So one day I just decided to stop working. I quit my job, and I concentrated 100% on finding a location. And a few months passed, and I finally found this place in Monrovia. I looked around. Monterey Park had a few locations: Alhambra, Rosemead, Arcadia, Pasadena. But I settled in Monrovia. Number one is the location, geography. Parts are easily accessible with the dealerships being close by. I guess the population, the demographic of the people that live there for my target clientele was more concentrated in that area.
Did you buy an existing business, or did you just have an empty shop and you built that from scratch?
Yeah, so we had an empty shop, built it from scratch. So the first year and a half was pretty scary. I was an automotive technician turned into a business owner, I threw myself into that position. And early on, I found out I needed help on the business end. I never managed the business, never knew about marketing, website, SEO, Google Ads. I had no experience with that. I thought, hey, I know how to work on cars. I could fix them well. They'll show up. And had a pretty rude awakening about 3-4 months in. I was like, oh crap, I don't know anything. So I went, looked for help, went to training class, joined a peer group, and from there I was able to learn more of the business end. And obviously the city, I believe the city of Monrovia is very business friendly, independent business friendly, and their chamber of commerce as well as other business owners helped me gain traction within the city. They kind of introduced me to other business owners, got some ideas from them, reached out to other networking groups such as BNI, and got to know people like in the local Rotary, the Kiwanis, and that just kind of slowly gained traction from there.
So you learned you just have to interact a lot.
Yeah, I believe networking was key in the beginning, getting to know the local businesses, the local people that are easily accessible to my location.
Do you still do a lot of that?
I do, not as much as I used to. The chamber right now, they're slowly bringing back in-person networking, but for a while, because the pandemic, they kind of made everything virtual. But right now I do a lot of networking within the automotive industry peer group. We just recently joined the Automotive Service Council of Southern California, and I still try to participate with the chamber, especially in Monrovia and Arcadia, as much as I can.
So you thought, well, I'm a mechanic, I know how to take care of cars.
Yeah.
You thought that would be good enough. You discovered you had to do more.
Yeah.
But what do you love right now? What is your favorite part of work?
Right now, my favorite part is helping our customers understand everything that's going in. Like we spoke earlier about a relationship-based business. With that, we try to explain everything to the customer. If they don't understand it, we'll take time and explain everything. We'll send pictures, videos over if they need a visual of why we're recommending a certain service or repair. And I guess educating them and getting them to understand and fully understand the value of the services and the repairs that we offer.
So education.
Yeah, educating our clients. Yeah.
Do you like the actual hands-on work?
I do. I can't seem to step away from that.
Yeah.
Although I probably should.
Like, what is a really good job? What I mean, like,
for myself, what challenges me the most are diagnostic type of works where there's something going wrong with the vehicle, but it's been to the dealer, it's been to the multiple shops, and they still couldn't figure it out. And trying to unwind things that were repaired and actually made it worse, and actually tackling the root cause. It doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, it feels great. Mm-hmm. And it's challenging, and obviously it's rewarding.
Yeah, to find a solution to something.
Do you do machine work?
We don't do machine work. That requires specialized tooling and skill, and that is referred out to another location.
So an example for the listener of machine work is like boring out a cylinder. Yeah,
boring out a cylinder, machining the cylinder head. If we do a clutch job, we need to resurface the flywheel. That gets sent out to a machine shop. We do in-house brake rotor resurfacing, which is kind of a normal routine in an automotive shop. We have an on-car brake lathe that guarantees zero run out. So it does it a little bit better. It's the only way that Toyota and Subaru and Honda recommend that we resurface brake rotors. But that part we could do in-house.
So when I say Seiko's my mechanic, like it's not like I've only been doing oil changes for 5 years. Like he's done some major work for me. And I would say I know what you're talking about in terms of the education and all the there's this whole explanation and pictures, multiple pictures. And then even then when I come in for my car, he has the part like ready for me to show me what has failed or gone
really?
wrong. And, which is really amazing. I can, I would say unnecessary though, for like, if I trust him as a mechanic, right? So, but I can see the value of that for, maybe a new customer or someone who doesn't know, about vehicles, right?
Yeah.
They must really enjoy that to see that.
Yeah. Quite a bit of our clients enjoy actually seeing the part. A lot of times, many shops won't show them what went wrong. When we can, we will show them. And another thing that a lot of our clients value is talking to the technician face to face. Let's say if Cody worked on your vehicle or Kano or myself worked on your vehicle, later on you could talk to us directly and not just through Sergio only, or in bigger locations it would be directly with the service advisor only, and you would never see the technician because they're out in the back of the shop.
That's like sort of how all dealerships work, right?
Yeah, a lot of dealerships are like that.
Why is that? You could tell us.
Is
it
might
something
be more efficient for them? I don't know.
Oh,
A lot of the technicians in dealerships get bonused or commissioned. So when they get pulled away from a job, they're essentially getting paid. Not their potential to earn is reduced.
I see. Are you willing to share some like common practices in your industry that is frowned upon? Because I mean that a lot of people are that's their thing, right? Like they want to be able to trust a mechanic, but they don't know, right? What should they be aware of?
Number one is, I believe, if communication's not there, if your service advisor or the shop that you take it to tells you that, hey, we're gonna call you this morning or this afternoon, and they never call you, and you actually have to give them a call, that's, I believe, is a pretty big problem in our industry. The communication's not there. A lot of people say, hey, I never got a call, or hey, when is my car ready? That communication's not there. So if that communication part is not done correctly, I believe then the shop is not operating as well as it should, and things will probably get missed. And another thing is, when you take your vehicle in for an issue that you're having, your air conditioning is not working, make sure that shop is inspecting the rest of your vehicle, and not just trying to fix what you came in for. Number one is because, let's say your brakes are almost gone. That's a lot more important than your air conditioning not working. So without that proper inspection, you won't be able to make educated decision based on what information you have. At our shop, we always perform a comprehensive inspection, and if the brakes are more important than the air conditioning, or if the tires looks like it's about to fall apart, we'll let the customer know and say, hey, this is probably more important than fixing your air conditioning or your stereo or so forth. So
sure,
having that proper inspection, I believe, is key.
What about, I think this is a common fear among consumers, being upsold and into services that they don't really need. Like how does the consumer know, or how can they protect themselves against something like that?
Yeah, I think it's more perception. Like I said, if you come into our shop, we're going to let you know everything that it needs. And yes, we are going to make an estimate for it. And some people might see that as an upsell. We see it more as a value for the customer. So they could take all the information in that's important and required. Some certain things will be required. Some are more in terms of keeping the vehicle maintained. And they could take all that information, digest it, and make an educated decision based on what they see. So upsell, there are a lot of shops that do that in the industry, but if you come in for, let's say, your brakes make noise, and all of a sudden they want to do everything in the brake system, you need brake hoses, calipers, and by the way, you need struts, and they're trying to aggressively sell it to you, that might be a tactic that I myself as well as our shop frowns upon. So I would suggest listeners that if they're being aggressively sold certain products or services and they can't explain why or have proof of why they should do it, I think that would be a red flag.
Sure.
And without checking the rest of the vehicle out.
Sure. Well, I want to get more into your future plans for your business, and also like any involvement you have with your two girls. I'm interested in that because I have two girls as well. But let's take a quick break and we'll come right back.
The legal process can be intimidating. You don't know where to start and you're unsure of what to expect. The attorneys and staff at the law offices of Scott Warmoth have been serving the San Gabriel Valley for over 35 years, helping people just like you navigate through the legal process and ensuring you're treated fairly. You can find them at law888.com or call 626-282-6868. That's 626-282-6868.
All right, we're back with Seiko Nagata, right?
Yes.
Can you pronounce that for me?
Seiko Nagata.
Nagata. Okay.
What is the name of your shop, actually?
It's Seiko's auto service.
Okay. And where are you located?
In Monrovia.
So before the break, I was interested, like how your daughters were your inspiration to pursue this. How much are they involved with what you do, and are they around the shop? Do you have them tinkering with cars?
They don't. They have more. I feel that as of right now, more important things that they should be working on in terms of education and other activities. My older daughter is a gymnast, so she's working on trying to make a college team as a gymnastics athlete, and my younger daughter is still going to sixth grade, or they just promoted to junior high to seventh grade, and they're in summer break. But she does computer coding and art, so we want to try to help her focus on that, and obviously the things that a lot of the Asian parents make their kids do, which is like kumon and for the math and reading and stuff like that.
Do you make them go to Japanese school?
My younger daughter, yes. The older daughter, she stopped going because her gymnastics required her to go in on Saturdays.
And did they resist?
I resisted them from stopping, but my older daughter was happy to not go. My younger daughter, she kind of wants out, but she does have a couple of good friends there that she can only see there, or not only see there, but they see each other on Saturdays. So she enjoys that part. But yeah, they do resist going. I resisted letting my older daughter stop, but because the gymnastics, it was a better option for her to not continue.
I see. And the next question was, what's in the future for your company? What are you looking to do? So
yes, we would like to expand a little bit more. My personal end goal is to have an 8-bay shop, which is about double the size of what we have right now, and increase staff to 3 full-time technicians, 1 apprentice always. We want to educate the next generation of technicians. So I always want to have 1 apprentice/helper, 2 service supervisors, and an office helper, so I could go in the back and work on the business and not in it every single day.
Wow. And you mentioned to me you were thinking of you had a location in mind?
There is a location that's up for sale, very close to where our location is, so it won't be too much of a inconvenience for our existing clients to still be able to bring it in. So when we do find that bigger location, I do want to stay in the vicinity of Monrovia, Duarte, Arcadia, around that area.
Okay. All right. Monrovia is, I'm only familiar with it's called Old Town Monrovia, right? Old Town Monrovia. Yeah. But I don't know if has anybody ever mentioned Old Town Monrovia as.
I don't think so.
That's actually my top thing.
Oh, okay, so hold on. So we're gonna get to find out some of your favorite places in the San Gabriel Valley.
Okay, so your SGV3, we already know, number one, Old Town Monrovia. Yeah. So let's talk about some of your favorite places, and go ahead, start with Old Town.
So in Old Town Monrovia, I like to go and explore a lot of the restaurants on Myrtle, as well as the side streets. And I like to kind of explore some of the other smaller businesses, antique shops, gift shops. We like to walk down the street. Like on Fridays, they'll close down the street and have a street fair in the evening, and you could just walk down the street and it's kind of there's smaller vendors that set up tents every Friday night, and that's always fun to go to. Some of my favorite restaurants there are one that I've recently discovered about 6 months ago is a sushi place, a small hole in the wall called Sushi Nagata. It's one of my favorite go-tos right now.
Really?
Yeah.
What's good about it?
It's traditional. They have fish imported from around the world, and they prepare it. Some of them are aged, and just the way it's presented, and it's different. It's more what you see in Japan versus what you see a lot over here with the California rolls and the crunchy rolls and all that stuff.
And I'm aware of at least one other Japanese restaurant there that I've gone to a few times. I don't know, are there more than one? More than two?
There's Mikomi that recently moved to another location, which is a bigger location for them. There's a ramen, Japanese noodle restaurant. And there's also Sushi Kuni. Yeah, there's a few.
Several. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. But yeah, Old Town, it is a nice stretch.
Yeah.
It's very walkable and not rowdy.
Yeah.
You know, everybody likes Old Town Pasadena, including me.
Yeah.
But it is a bigger scene, and Monrovia is more family style to me.
Yeah. Absolutely. And parking's a lot easier too.
It is, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
So where do you park for the street fair?
So there's a lot of public parking that are, I guess, adjacent to Myrtle. I like parking off of Lemon.
Just on the street. There's no lot.
There's a lot of
there's a lot.
Lots. Yeah. There's a lot of public parking between Lemon and Lime, I think. Yeah. And if that's full, you can always go into the residential area, probably about half a block. You don't have to walk too far. And because Old Town Monrovia is not a very long area like Old Town Pasadena. If you park in one location, you could pretty much walk, and it's not extremely far. Yeah, it's pedestrian friendly.
So if you're listening and you've never been to either, Pasadena, as we learned, is supposed to be referred to as Old Pasadena, not Old Town, by the former mayor of Pasadena, who was part of the restoring that area. He became visibly upset to have it referred to as Old Town, but he said that Monrovia is Old Town Monrovia,
Yes.
whereas Pasadena still has many old facade, style, but it's a 6-lane highway with the parking on Colorado, whereas in Monrovia it's like 2.
Yeah, 2 lanes.
Right? It's really
Two lane.
narrow.
Yeah.
And
just more accessible.
Yeah.
I think all the old buildings are still, they look old, right?
Yeah. A lot of historical buildings in Monrovia are I believe they're protected.
Yeah.
So what else is a favorite of yours?
Number 2 is the gym that I go to, the Santa Anita YMCA, which is in Old Town. It's not. I'm sorry. It's in Monrovia, off of Mountain. I go there every morning to swim. I believe they do a good job with what they do, not only with the gym, but they also help in the community and get things.
What is it called again?
The YMCA, the Santa Anita YMCA.
Santa Anita YMCA.
Yeah.
In Monrovia.
It's in Monrovia, off of Mountain.
Mountain. up towards the foothills?
up towards the foothills.
Is there a basketball court there?
There is. There's an indoor basketball
I
court.
think I've been there before. Yeah, it's a nice one. Yeah.
And number 3?
Number 3 is where I grew up in Monterey Park. Still like going there to go eat dim sum, Chinese food all day. Chinese food there is amazing. A lot of options to choose from in Monterey Park.
What's your favorite dim sum place?
So it used to be Ocean Star, but they closed down quite a while ago. Still like going to NBC. It's a little bit more upscale, but that place we've been going since we were in high school, as well as the Tasty Gardens in the Monterey Park Times Square area. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, those are all pretty familiar to me. Yeah, Ocean Star was my favorite too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dim Sum Express is always a classic. That little building right on Garfield.
Do you know that?
I don't.
It's
no.
been around for a very long
It's
time.
Garfield and Emerson, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. What's it called?
Dim Sum Express.
Oh,
But it
okay.
used to be called Fong's Burger.
Oh, really?
Do you remember? I mean, it was like just a pink box, and you couldn't see anybody working inside.
Yeah.
There was just like a little window.
I know the place you're talking about. Right. Yeah.
But their chasuval was like this big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the east side of Garfield.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Seiko, thank you for joining us today. Can you tell the listeners where is your shop exactly, and how can they get a hold of you?
Okay. Our shop is located in Monrovia on Huntington, between Mountain and Shamrock, right north of the 210 freeway. The best way to reach us is either giving us a call or shooting us an email through our website. Our website is seikosauto.com, SEIKOS auto.com. From there, you could actually request appointments, shoot us an email through our contact sheet, or giving us a call at 626-359-0589.
And is there a particular type of vehicle that you specialize in?
We do specialize in the Toyota line, which includes Lexus and Scion. Number 2 would be the Subaru vehicles, and 3 would be the Honda and Acura. So we specialize in those 3 vehicle lines.
All right. Well, Seiko, thank you for coming on and sharing your story. And I'm so blown away that we have these connections. I didn't know.
Thank you.
Russell. Thank you, Scott.
Well, thank you for listening to another episode. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tune in next time for the next episode. We'll see you then.
Thanks for checking out another episode of the SGV Master Key. You can find the full back catalog of the SGV Master Key at sgvmasterkey.com and wherever you get your podcasts. This show was produced and edited by Russell Mono and Victoria Allers of Kind Monster Productions. Thanks again for listening or watching. We'll see you again real soon in the next episode.
Nice mother. No, kind mother.